Hello Chromium! Welcome to Lesson 4, Sign a Transaction and Filter Queries. In this lesson, we're going to learn two things. First, how to sign transactions so only an administrator can add books. Second, how to filter and sort reviews using queries. First, we'll be signing transactions. We need to specify who the administrator is, and we can do that by passing an argument through chain context. Head over to the docs for more detailed information. Okay, but let's start by creating a key pair that we can define as the administrator. You can also find more details on creating and managing key pairs in the documentation. Now, to access the administrator key through chain context, we'll need to define this struct. Once we have that, we'll be able to access the arguments we place in Chromia YML. So let's take the public key we created earlier and define that as the admin public key. I'll put it up here so you can see the difference. We're just adding arguments to our module called main and defining the admin public key, but you can find all the implementation details in the docs. Now let's grab the key we created. But in case we didn't save it the first time, we can always retrieve it like this. Now that we've defined who the admin is, let's require that they actually sign. Just like we saw how chain context can be used to get information from Chromia YML, if we head over to the docs, we'll see that op context can be used for blockchain information, like who's signing this transaction. I'm putting it here next to for comparison, so we can see that we're getting the admin pub key from chain context and then asking op context if the pub key has signed. And of course we need to test that it actually works. We'll start by defining a test key pair, which will then be our test admin. I like to put it here at the top of the file. And then we'll tell the test module to use the key we just defined. Okay, let's see. We can update the Rell version to 0.14.9. These values we already have. But what we're really interested in here is the module args, specifically the admin public key. And now we can update our existing test to sign with our bookkeeper. I'm putting it here next to for comparison so we can see that the only difference is that the test now includes the signing. So let's delete the old one. And we'll let the bookkeeper sign the next test as well. Again, I'm adding it next to so you can see the difference, but it's really just the signing. Let's delete the old one. also a signed test for getting books. Let's put it next to the existing one. And again we can see the only difference is that this time we're signing as the bookkeeper. And finally, we need to test that the wrong signer actually gets rejected. Let's use Bob's account for that. Again, I'll put it at the top. And then the test that passes when it fails. And now we can run them. Great, everything passes, both signing as the bookkeeper and rejecting Bob. Now we can safely continue with adding filters and sorting to our queries. Here's a good overview of the elements of a query, but let's quickly head over to the documentation. Here you'll find all the elements and details. I highly recommend checking it out. Feel free to pause and explore now or return after the video. We'll start by filtering reviews by a chosen rating. And of course we need a test for it. Let's update the imports to include the new query. Yes, we got the new query. And now let's do the actual test to see that it works. In addition to filtering by rating, we'll also try sorting by it. Of course, it's already defined. Let's put them next to each other so we can compare. And we can see the only difference really is the sorting. We don't have a test for this yet, so let's update the imports. And of course we'll add the test itself. And finally see if it works. Fantastic! All the tests pass. If you've done the steps, you'll now have successfully implemented transaction signing, query filtering, and sorting. That marks the end of this lesson, but do take a moment to celebrate and enjoy your achievement. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next video.